I'm David Locke with Locke and Key Associates, and I have my wonderful guest with me, Lee Matthews. Lee, thank you for being my first guest on my podcast.
I very much appreciate you having me on.
You're my guinea pig. So, you're a mortgage loan advisor for Acopia.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about Acopia.
So Acopia is a mortgage lender based out of Goodlettsville, Tennessee, which is a bedroom community of Nashville. It was started back in 2007 by one of the retired execs of Dollar General.
Really, Dollar General?
Yes.
I always had a friend that wore Dolce & Gabbana glasses with the DG on the side of them, and I always say, "Oh, you're wearing your Dollar General glasses." So I'm going to introduce you just a little bit. You went to the University of Alabama, and you're from Winfield, Alabama, and you're married with 2 children, and you love golf, Alabama sports, and fly fishing.
Correct.
And we know one another because we go to church together.
Yes.
And our sons are good friends. So tell me, how is Acopia different from a bank? Like, if I needed a mortgage, why should I go to a mortgage lender like Acopia and not my local banking institution?
The biggest difference, just for the average Joe on the street, would be we're not a deposit institution. So we're not going to have the checking savings accounts. We're not going to make you an automobile loan. We're strictly mortgage lending. And we have the full array of the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac products, as well as your government-backed loans, your VA, USDA, and FHA. And then we also have some other products as well, fall under the category of, down payment assistance, renovation loans, things of that nature that maybe your typical deposit institution may not have.
I know I had a client that we were trying to get funded, and I contacted you because the bank could not help her, but you could help her because y'all had different products that the bank didn't necessarily have. So, how did you get in to mortgage lending? Is that something you just woke up when you were 6 years old and said, "I want to be a mortgage lender"?
No. When I came out of school, I wasn't quite sure what path I wanted to go on, and I was working for a department store selling men's clothes. And a couple came in, and his wife was wanting him to buy a pink shirt, and he was not quite keen on it. So after a lengthy conversation selling him on the idea, he ended up handing me his card after we were through and asked me to come and apply for a job at the bank there in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, cool.
And that's kind of how I fell into it. And then just over the years, I ended up steering towards the mortgage side of things.
Did he buy the pink shirt?
He did buy the pink shirt.
I remember you telling me that story. Well, tell me, what do you think is the current market outlook? I know so many people are we going to go into recession? Are we going to have a soft landing? What do you think is the market outlook for mortgage?
Yeah, I just kind of regurgitate the things that I read, and very similar. I think a lot of the professionals, if you will, that speculate on that seem to think we're going to settle into things late, maybe in the second quarter, early into the third quarter, start to see maybe a little bit of a rebound from where we are currently.
Fantastic.
That seems to be the consensus.
That's what I'm hearing as well. Do you think inflation is slowing? Do you think that the Fed is what they're doing is working?
Yeah, it has slowed. I think you can go online and do a quick Google search, and the indicators are there. I think we were over at 9 at one point during the summer, and now we're just a hair over 7 at the end of November.
So it's actually come down.
So it's come down. What's going to happen going forward, I don't really know, obviously, but it has come down. So I
always say, if we had a crystal ball, we'd be really wealthy.
Exactly, we would. So.
Well, what do you think is the greatest challenge for somebody who's trying to secure a loan?
Over the length of my career, I'd say credit. Credit seems to be the biggest obstacle. My opinion. I wish, maybe schools would do more of take more of a lead in the education role, in terms of people protecting their credit. Because so many people have a misunderstanding of it, and it's pretty quick to get ruined. But here recently, a really prominent challenge is the median household income.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing that as well.
Is no longer capable of buying the median priced house.
Yep.
So that creates significant hurdle for the middle class.
Well, I know we recommend that no matter what market you're in, whether you're renting or whether you're securing a mortgage, that you take what you make and you divide that by 3, and your mortgage shouldn't exceed that. And I'm seeing people come, especially to rent from me, that they're on Social Security. Well, maybe they make $1,400 a month. Well, the rent is $1,000 a month. And so I'm seeing that it's becoming where, unless you're upper middle class or above, how are you going to afford a house?
Yeah, it's a real problem. I wish I had the solution. I really do, but I don't know if increased rates and this kind of a slowdown period that we're in will help. If prices will come down, rates are beginning to soften a little bit. If that'll help the middle class, maybe come mid 2023.
I'm hoping so. Well, what would you recommend if somebody has bad credit or they're young and they're trying to build their credit? How would you recommend going about that if that's the main stumbling block?
If you don't have credit, it's a lot easier to establish credit than it is to repair credit. I would say that.
That's good to know.
Going to your local bank and maybe trying to get a secured loan where you're essentially borrowing your own funds is a step that you can take in the right direction. And then sometimes it's just a matter of time heals all wounds.
So basically create almost like an artificial loan that you're paying back just so you can build the credit for yourself.
Absolutely.
And how can you help somebody when they come to you? How do you help them secure a loan?
The biggest part is just relying on someone, like me or my profession that knows how to kind of navigate the various products available to them. For instance, somebody that might be self-employed, there's access to alternative income documentation loans out there that a bank may not have. Down payment assistant loans, whether banks offer those or not, most I would say probably don't, but SC Housing is an institution here in South Carolina that offers grants to help people with down payments and closing costs and things like that. So you can get a second loan, which can be forgivable in some instances, and that helps buyers with the down payment and closing costs.
That's why I love working with people who, like yourself, that are in the lending, because as realtors, we understand a lot of it, but so much of it changes. And with so many, each person who's trying to secure a loan, their financial picture is different. Are they a veteran? Are they a senior? There's so many different ways that you all can help someone secure a loan. So that's why I like to put my clients with a lender as quick as I can. So one of the things I asked you when we were preparing, I said, tell me your favorite quote. So do you have a favorite quote? That's something I collect. I collect quotes.
Maybe you sent me that. I probably should have given you a heads up. I don't know that I have a favorite quote. Nick Saban, Alabama's football coach, has got some really good ones out there that I've enjoyed reading.
We'll have to Google Nick Saban.
I don't know that I have a favorite quote.
Well, what is your greatest life lesson? I always try to feel like I can learn from other people and their life lessons. So what's your greatest life lesson? Doesn't necessarily have to do with lending.
What I've kind of gone through this last year, so without going into details, I would just say not taking your loved ones or life for granted. Just that would be certainly the biggest lesson I've learned is appreciate who you have and the time you have, and that would probably be my life lesson.
Make sure your family and your friends are the priority in your life and not your work, because
Absolutely.
Nobody, when they get to the end of their life, is going to say, oh gosh, I wish I had stayed at the office more.
Exactly.
That's what I always say. Well, Lee, thank you for being my first guest on the Locke and Key podcast. And again, Lee Matthews with Acopia. So if you need any help with lending, please call Lee. And it was so great to have you come in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Lee.